Let's start with the obvious, stationery. I think it's both a cliche and a crime not to start here because stationery has always been and probably will always be one of the top things to bring back from Japan. I've visited quite a few stores in across all Japan, but I'm going to be mainly focusing on Tokyo because that is the easiest place where you can find everything. From my experience, the places with the most variety are Loft, Tokyo Hands, and Itoya. Most art stores actually also sell really nice stationery, but these three definitely had the biggest selection and stood out. And if you are a cat person, I definitely recommend you visit Bunpodo in Jimbocho area. They have so many cat related little things. It's almost dangerous to go there actually if you're a cat person because you may never want to live like I never wanted to live. I got these washi tapes. There's one limited edition with a William Morrison design. I got this one from Itoya. This one is a bullet point that you could use for bullet journaling on your notebook. I think this is really clever. I also found these tiny little washi masking tapes, and of course I had to get all the cards. Actually I got more, but it wouldn't fit on this table. One of the other things you cannot miss in Japan are memo blocks. This one is Tea Time and this one is Mado from Itoi Yuki. I really love this long one with birds and rabbits and grass. It's really heartwarming when you use it. And my favorite of all are these planners. I use this planner for my daily affirmations because there's one page per week, so there's only enough space to do that, and then I use this one to plan my entire week. I don't even use any digital planner anymore because this physical one, it just feels so good and so grounding. It's impossible to talk about Japanese stationery without also talking about all the craft tools and accessories. I especially recommend going to Sekaido in Shinjuku or Itoya in Ginza if you want to find everything in one place without having to go through different stores too much. Or if you happen to go through Nagoya, definitely check out Kami no Ondo store as well. I think in terms of bookbinding accessories, this store was the best. I didn't buy much in terms of craft tools or accessories, but if you're into craft, you'll definitely be in paradise in Tokyo. I just picked up these fake tiny flowers, also these ironable patches, because sometimes my clothes have holes or sometimes they are too plain and I want to make them cooler. This one is more of a bonus, but if you enjoy trying out new creative hobbies or mediums, Japan is great with beginner kits. You usually find them by browsing in bookstores or shopping malls, sometimes in art stores too. For example, at Tool Ochanomizu branch, I saw a really cute beginner-friendly fabric printmaking kit that I seriously considered buying, but for the lack of space, I didn't. There were also polymer clay kits too, if I'm not mistaken. Lots of fun stuff to browse if you want to try out new things to exercise your creativity. And at Pigment, a store for pigment, they had a beginner paint making set that you can use to make your own paint, then use it to paint a traditional Japanese pattern provided in the kit. You'll end up finding different kits depending on where you go. Usually you will find them on random places, sometimes even coffee shops. So be prepared, open your mind, always be aware. Unagi. And now it's time to talk about painting mediums. Japan is home to so many painting materials that are amazing, from big name brands to smaller ones you may have never heard of yet. One thing that is really consistent across so many Japanese painting materials are the quality of the colors and the quality of the pigment. The shades you will find in Japan are often really unique, especially those pastel and neon colors. Japanese colors will have a fresher, more modern feel to them. I mainly use gouache, so that's what I'm always looking out for. If you're also into gouache, definitely Holbein or Turner. Those are like probably the most well-known brands when it comes to acrylic gouache. Then there's also Liquitex gouache, which is an American brand, but in Tokyo I found that they just have so many more sets and options to choose from than in Europe. Gouache is a really beloved medium in Japan. I also would recommend you not skip the colored pencils from Holbein. These are one of the best colored pencils in the world, and honestly I now understand why, because they are so pigmented and the colors that the brand offers are just so rich, again neon and pastels. Holbein also sometimes do a limited edition collab with artists, which is really cool if you like collecting limited edition sets. Of course, you'll find all of these mediums in all of the art stores, if not most art stores. But my personal favorite stores for buying painting materials are Tools in Ochanomizu, Itoya, and Sekaido. If you're looking for something more local and handcrafted, I also recommend you check out Gekkoso in Ginza. And if you're into oil paint, I recommend going to Bunpodo. They were actually the first store in Japan to introduce oil paint to the country. You think Japan, you think manga. You think manga, you think Copic. Copic markers are still probably the most famous on the markers market. They pretty much dominate the industry, at least in my mind, when it comes to markers, but they're definitely not the only option. Aside from Copic, there are also great markers from Sakura, Pilot, Uni, of course, the creator of Posca, and other Japanese brands. There's a lot to explore if you like experimenting with markers. Marker sets in Japan are just like I picked up a few traditional color ink markers. This is the kind with soft brushes and super vibrant colors. From Copic, I found these new acrylic markers. This set is said to be only available in Japan, so more reason not to miss this. And then probably this is the most questionable purchase among all the markers that I got. These are vintage palette markers that I found in an old office supply store in Nagoya. They are old, kind of dried out, and quite stinky, to be honest. I'm not sure I should be inhaling this at all, but I love them. I don't regret buying them at all. If you want a great shopping experience for markers, I recommend going to Tools in Ochanomizu. They are an official Copic store, so you'll find the full range of everything from Copic. Otherwise, I did find that Sekaido and Itoya have plenty of options too, with Itoya being really beautiful. And also, if you want to discover some treasures, just go around some random very old office supply stores in your neighborhood and you will find something pretty cool. Another supply you cannot miss when you go to Japan is brushes. The first type of brush that comes to mind when we talk about Japan would be bamboo brushes. They are great and very cute to look at. I have bought them as gift to people and they usually love it. But I don't personally do calligraphy or use bamboo brushes. But if you do, I think you'll be really happy in Japanese art stores. I recommend going to the basement floor of Bunpodo if you want to find everything in one place, or Pigment if you're looking for fancy high quality brushes, and honestly their display is so gorgeous. Now, it's not just the traditional bamboo brushes that are worth buying in Japan, because the Japanese modern brushes are really great too. I really love Japanese brushes, especially the precision ones, because they are actually more precise than others I've used and they tend to last longer. Different stores will carry different brands. I don't have a favorite, though the ones I currently have are from Holbein and Namura. With Japan, even the most insignificant experiences places can turn into some enhanced experience. So while you're there, keep an eye out for all the life-enhancing painting accessories. For example, I found lantern-shaped water pots. I also found a very well-designed lightweight toolbox that didn't look butch at all, but super elegant. I wanted to buy one but simply had no space in my suitcase, so I became reasonable again. As a consolation, I bought a brush holder and a brush case, both so lightweight yet feel so well made. It's these simple things that are kind of life-changing, but you barely think about them in your daily life. Japan is super crafty, so paper is something you can't miss when you go there. Unfortunately, the best paper store that I have visited is in Nagoya, so if you want to come by all those amazing paper, I really recommend you go to Kamino Ondo in Nagoya. This is where I found these handmade cotton paper and these handmade craft paper. But if you can't go to Nagoya, you still can stay in Tokyo and find cool paper in souvenir stores, bookstores, or you can go to Itoya in Ginza as well. They have a beautiful selection of craft, gift wrapping papers, and also sketchbooks and other types of paper. If you're looking for something more technical, definitely check out Lemon Gasui. They have an entire floor dedicated to different types of paper that I have never seen elsewhere before. Office supplies. If you are like me and have always thought that office supplies are boring items, just, utilitarian for work, for school, like really something that you cannot be or feel creative about, I definitely recommend you give Japanese office supplies shops a try. My mind changed when I went inside an old store of office supplies in Nagoya. It was probably founded in like the 70s, and I discovered so many items that I have forgotten existed. For example, stencils. I have forgotten that stencils existed since I left junior school. You will find so many cool precision technical tools in those office supply stores. For me, I found the stencils obviously, but I also found these cat post-it that, it's just post-it, but I have never found cat post-it outside of Japan, right? This is just cheap basic post-it, but they made it so cute. And also one of the things that I love the most among everything I purchased is this hyper eraser. I thought it was a cutter at first. I found this one in Lemon Gasui. This is so precise and so practical to use when you need to only erase a small area of your drawing. And also this masking tape. Masking tape can be found everywhere, but this size that is easy to travel with, I don't find this quite often. This one I found in Sekaido. The last thing I recommend you buying when you're in Japan, or at least getting a glimpse of, is pigment. Now, of course, you can find pigment anywhere in the world. You don't have to be or to go to Japan just to be able to buy pigment. But what I have rarely seen outside of Japan is the stores that only sell pigments. And Japan has quite a few. First, there is a store that is called Pigment. It is quite a famous one because it's one of the most beautiful art stores you could visit in Japan, or actually in the entire world. I wouldn't be surprised about that. You can buy anything there actually, from budget friendly to very expensive pigments. The store also sells beginner friendly paint making kits for you to make your own paint with guidance. Aside from this grand and fancy pigment store, I also went to another one that feels more local and warm. The store is called Kinkaido and it is located in a more remote area of Tokyo. It feels older, more local, more traditional. I bought a dozen of different pigments from both stores to try, and this little pestle and mortar from Pigment to start making my own paint. I hope it was a little bit useful or a little bit entertaining. I forgot to put this paper here, but this is pretty much everything that I bought from Japan on my last trip.